Still like that ticking time bomb sound we got going this week.
What's that sound?
Yeah, what to do?
It's gonna blow. We're gonna die.
Sounds like a
I think
clock.
I think Tim's got like a grandfather clock going on in his place there, man. Anyways, what the hell, we're on here. Hello, and welcome back to another week, folks. You're tuned into This Week in Search, where we just talk about crap that we talked about all week. That's pretty much it. So, how's everyone doing? Everyone's getting new contracts lately. I don't know, Frank and Doc, and everyone's starting to be happy out there.
I got one too this week.
It's beautiful, man. I have a couple. Well, let's see. So what do we got going on this week? I swear to God, Terry. Oh, Terry left. I just love Search Engine Roundtable. I don't know. It's my new fodder. I like Barry. He's a friend, but it's just I think he's running out of things to talk about over there. Okay, here's my case in point to start this week. Did anybody know this? This is stunning news. Oh, what am I on the wrong page there? Still looking at that. Right, too many screens. Yeah, so here we go. Did you guys know that you can be negatively impacted by one algorithm and positively by another? Who knew?
Wait, you mean there's more than one algo?
Yeah, last I heard it's the Google algo, isn't it? Yeah, what is this crap even? Everyone knows there's only one.
The algorithm, right?
Right, yeah. So yeah, apparently there was confirmation on this from Google. So, okay, this question in particular was one of these office hour things with John Mueller, and the question was actually, if Penguin hits you, does that mean you're just screwed? And I'm pretty sure we all knew, and there's been many statement and conversation about it, that you could still be moving forward while you're waiting for anything. Like other algorithms are still going to have a positive effect. You just got a dampener from one doesn't mean you can't get a positive effect out of other things you're doing. So. Seems a bit counterintuitive, but it's the case. Who knew?
Yeah, and the other thing is, let's say, especially with Penguin, which is largely link-based, it's quite possible that the vast majority of your competitors are also getting links in some of the places that just ship canned. So, all ships get affected the same way.
Well, yeah, and again, if let's say you're hit by whatever, like a panda or something, that doesn't mean other things you're doing aren't going to have a positive effect. Again, Terry, I think we used to advise that when people are like, what do we do now that, you've done this cleanup, what do we do now? Well, you just continue on as normal without doing anything stupid.
Yeah.
Even while you're being affected, you're still going to be able to do positive things. You don't just sit there on your thumbs and do nothing.
Well, you have to do something because you just removed a bunch of links from your website. So if you think you can remove links and keep the same position, that's kind of stupid, in my opinion, to think that.
And yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we always talk about stuff in our forensic day. Like, think about Penguin not running for the last year and a half or whatever, 2 years, I don't know what we're at now, but, they've removed the value from those links. So, regardless of what you're doing in the interim, that's not coming back. Another Penguin runs doesn't mean, like, now that you've made Google happy that you're going to get back up to where you were, because you were ranking with crap links. Google found them, discounted them all, and so that's just your new world. Start moving forward from there. Like, you can't, you don't sit around and say, like, because there's people who still talk about, oh, Penguin hasn't run, so I'm still screwed. And it's like, well, no, you could still be doing other things.
Look at Dave, when you do a disavow and that kind of stuff, that happens right away. Right? What I think people haven't picked up on is that when you get hit by Penguin, your authority and your QS gets hit, and authority and trust get hit, and that's not going to come back even if you got a whole bunch of links. It's going to come back with time, likely a year or more, is my thinking.
Well, what's the old saying in business? It could take 10 years to build up trust and 2 minutes to lose it.
That's the other thing. these days, I would rather get hit by a manual penalty than Penguin.
Absolutely.
Well, to start it, you know what it is, because the manual action tells you what it is right out the bat. Then you've got an avenue to actually communicate with Google and talk to whoever is manning that account. And, yeah, you can get out of it. At least you know what it is, and you got someone to talk to at Google. Penguin, don't stick your thumb up your ass.
The interesting thing is, in that one, did pennies, remember the whole pennies thing when they were, having those really heavy ankle detectors?
Oh, we lost it. Okay.
The pennies, when pennies got hit, was that pre-Penguin? Because why didn't they get really savagely attacked?
That was pre-Penguin.
Okay.
Pretty sure. That was the one you talked to one of the newspapers about, Dave.
Which one? Overstock?
JCPenney.
There's a few. Oh, JCPenney. No, it was Overstock. I was doing, but it was around the same time as the JCPenney thing.
Yeah.
They were kind of chirping a bit on that. Yeah.
But I think
that was the Wall Street
before
Journal.
Penguin, though, right?
No, that was back before all of that crap, man.
Yeah.
It was literally just one person trying to get on the radar with it, get one of their competitors on the radar for Google, Probably easier ways to do it.
Yeah, but even
that's back when everybody was outing everyone, like there was like the whole, I don't know, 2009 maybe, and everybody was outing everyone, there was just post after post of, look at this guy's links.
Well,
how come I got in shit?
When Dave and I did an analysis of that, Frank, what was really interesting is that JCPenney had done the same thing for at least 3 or 4 years running the exact same strategy with no problem at all.
Yeah, exactly. And the interesting part about that was how quickly they bounced back, because that was also the period where all you had to do was disavow the SEO that supposedly you hired to do it for you. Same thing.
Well,
rather Jim Boykin and his clients way back.
Yeah, but I think
also go ahead, Tim.
I think a site like JCPenney gets its authority back a lot faster than just any old e-gun site.
Would make sense, yeah.
Yeah, but why? In reality, why?
Because they've got a lot more to begin with.
Well, again, okay, something I was going to say is that, I'm not talking to a Googler back at the time around this stuff. I wrote that topic, and unfortunately, regardless of what this web spam team wants to do to make an example of someone, above them, they're part of the search quality team. So above them, you've got Amit Singhal or whoever saying that well, we don't want to do that because that affects search quality. Meaning, if somebody looks for that website, that brand, and doesn't find it on Google, they don't care if there's a penalty. They don't, they're not going to make public statements like this, but I understand what the guy was telling me. There's certain brands that people expect to see when they do a navigational search on Google, so you can't just throw them out of the index, you know what I mean? Because then that affects search quality, and no end user really cares about if they're link spamming or not, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Same way
they just don't care.
BMW comes back really fast, and they've got beat it a couple of times, I believe.
In those cases, I would understand. It's stupid of Google to drop a company if you do the company search, just specifically for the company name, but not for their ability to rank return. If you did a search in Google for JCPenney should show up. But if you did, black dress, which was one of the ones that they got nailed for.
Which,
they should.
Right, Frank? I never understood that because where's the background noise coming from?
It's Tim. You just got to be. We can literally hear your chips.
Okay.
That's a good mic he's running there. All right, we're good. Let's go ahead, Tim.
Oh, sorry. They were. I looked at the keywords that they were ranking for, Frank, and when I looked at it, I thought, there's nothing wrong with this. this is just Google, placating a newspaper that wrote a story about them. Basically, it happens at Christmas time every year. You could see they'd ramp this up at around Black Friday.
Yeah.
Shut it down after Christmas. Well, what store wouldn't be advertising all over the web for a black dress that time of year? J.C. Penney. Made total sense to me. Like, I didn't understand that penalty. That's one of the few I've looked at and said, this is bullshit. Like, there's no way this should be happening.
Yeah, I think it was more the outreach and the over optimization, as it were, for a particular anchor text.
Yeah, well, it's Christmas. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, remember that we had that one, I guess, 2010 or something, Terry, and then after that, Google started doing them in January. It was like, okay, whoops. I think it took them a while, but they finally started to figure that out.
Well, after Florida, when they saw, businesses going out of, small businesses going out of business because of Florida running just before Christmas, Google will never run a major update after mid-September. I don't see it happening. Because they can put businesses out of business because they bought stock that they can't sell.
It seems that they were always doing stuff in September that sort of hustled people to increase their PPC spend, because they've dropped for various rankings with in the organic side.
Yeah, but that's enough time to get back on your feet if it isn't too egregious.
Yeah, I'd bring that up at various conferences and ask Google about it, and they'd get rather pissed at me for saying, well, you seem to make changes to your algorithm that impact people needing to replace their organic traffic with paid search.
Well, here's the bottom line, right? Google could do it in October or November if they wanted to. I mean, they're spamming. They're breaking the rules. So there shouldn't be any time that they're getting a free shot at it. I'll never, ever say anybody who spams is doing something that is right. It's wrong, period. And you should pay the consequences. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, they could just cut them off at the knees, you know what I mean? Let your brand searches still show up, but that's it. You know what I mean? Anything else that you had ranking for anywhere, but we'll just cut you off the knees. Your brand title will still show up. After that, you're on your own. I think that would be a reasonable solution, but I don't know if they're quite motivated to do that. I guess somewhat related to the original story.
Well, what was the original
this
story?
one. So I don't know, Terry. This is one of those, and I know that Frank's a big fan of John's lately. This is another one of those. I watched this hangout actually, and so I was kind of wondering at the time what he was asking that guy, Terry. What the guy was asking is if there's some sort of authority or trust dampening on the site, and how long does that take to recover? And John kind of hummed and hawed his weight around it. He didn't really, confirm that, and basically said that, like we were saying earlier, just keep doing other stuff and so on and so on. So I don't know.
Well, of course he's not going to say that, yeah, we hit your authority and trust, because, then everybody would get upset because, you should be able to spam and there'd be no repercussion.
Yeah, he says that all that's left really is that the rest of our algorithms and how they interact with your website. And if some of those algorithms may be looking at similar things that the manual auction was looking at.
When all the manuals came out just before Penguin, almost all of those were almost guaranteed to be hit by Penguin as well. Like, how
Yeah.
can you have a manual
And
unless
not have its little, yeah, and not have its little cousin.
by Penguin? That can't happen, in my opinion.
Yeah,
No,
there had,
yeah,
to,
'cause-
there had to have been some sort of filter that was, showing up that here is, you're someone that's breaking the Penguin rules, and then they were manually reviewed and got the manual on top of the Penguin.
Yeah, I don't think they look at sites that have been hit by Penguin and try and give them manuals. I think if you get a manual penalty, you got caught doing something that they were clamping down on.
Yeah, I could
Let's put it this way.
imagine maybe a high-level algorithmic flag. I mean, not just enough to get you filtered, but enough to get you filtered 10 times over might flag you for a manual review. That would make sense. But
I bet you those are separate, though. I'll bet you that.
You can bet
If anything was going to hand off to anything, it would be the manuals handing off to Penguin. I wouldn't even see it working the inverse. You know what I mean? I think more than likely it'd be that way.
And most manual penalties are for something specific these days. You don't get something. It's been a long time since they've given out manual penalties for link spam. It's now seems to be they're trying to stop something that they think is out of control. What was the latest one? It was fake reviews or something.
Outbound links. Well, the name of the manual action is outbound links, but it was the people that were selling, links and reviews for free. Well, not selling, sorry, in exchange for free products or free whatever. But yeah, the actual name of the manual action is the outbound links one. Yeah.
Yeah, but on top of that, they're also breaking the law, aren't they?
If you're in the States, there's a good chance you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're not disclosing them, they're getting crossways with the FTC.
Yeah.
And that's part of it is, I think if Google let that slide, they could even be looked at by the FTC and, why are you not doing something about this? I think that's what they're scared of.
Well, the European version would certainly hold them responsible because I think they get blamed for the rain. But in the U.S., I think the FTC would have a hard time holding them responsible, to police people's websites. I sure would have liked to see them put in that position.
No, I don't think they probably get maybe more than a nudge. Got to remember who's the number one political contributor down there. It's Google, so I'm sure they don't have to worry about too much. Really.
But in Europe, they kiss their ass goodbye. It'd be their fault.
In Europe, that's how they tax them. It's indirect taxation is what it is.
Yep.
So, okay, I'm just reading this again. Yeah, nothing else interesting. So, there you go. So
Really?
we're answering all those... No, I'm saying as far as this story. I'm just saying, we've answered all the burning questions here.
Hey, it's a slow week if this is all...
Yeah, that's it. We're done, folks. See you later. Well, come on, dude. This is the SEO industry. We could just make news up.
That's true. We're quote make some.
Yeah, we could just make some shit up on the fly, man. It would be as good as some of the other crap out there, So,
better.
So yeah, I think that's kind of a veiled thing from Mr. Mueller there, as far as that particular action has been lifted. That doesn't mean that other algos aren't still looking at you. Like, okay, yeah. But that again, the question, if I recall, was the guy asking if there's a trust penalty, and in true Matt Cuttsian form, he kind of danced around that one.
Yeah, but
isn't that what the new Google dance is? It's these guys talking to us.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I yearn for when they told, give us the mushroom treatment. I think we'd all, because you know what? SEOs would start thinking again. Now they want Google to just spoon feed. Oh, is there a trust issue? I don't know. Your fucking site ain't gone up in 6 months and you've got 100 links to it. I think you got an issue. Yeah, fuck.
Don't hold back, Terry. Tell us what you really think.
It just bothers me that people ask such stupid questions. I feel sorry for John. I would take all my things to say, You shouldn't have your head so far up your ass.
I kind of wish that sometimes he just reached down, take off his shoe, and throw it at the camera.
Well, I feel sorry for him because I know when he's answering on a specific issue, and SEOs think that covers the gamut. And, you know, there's so many people out there that don't realize that every site is unique. Even if you think it's exact, it's unique. You gotta learn that. You can't compare Joe's newspaper classified site to the fucking New York Times.
Well, it's not just
That's
that.
just idiotic.
That's not just
Terry.
that, though, Terry. It's also the fact that any site today is unique from that same site tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, so many things change. So what worked for this site yesterday will not necessarily work for this site next week.
Well, look at that thing I was showing from the post I was doing the other day over on Authority Labs. Some of the stuff that Chase was sharing with me. That's when I put that forensic section. And so yeah, Terry, you know, 1 month this local Austin Audi dealer, right? 1 month he's got boom, he's got the map at the top, he's in the local pack at the top. Below that he had domain crowding, so he had like 3, 4, 5, and 6 or whatever. Right? So he's kicking it, right? He's got everything for that area for the term Audi. Well, I guess somewhere along the line, I didn't get the dates off of Chase. I'd be curious when this happened, but so then like a month later, Google decides it's going to change the classification of that query and start switching over to the brand, meaning the actual Audi website and shit like that. So you know, everything just gone, right? Like he had domain crowding sitting there, he had freaking local packs sitting there. A month later, Google decided obviously to change that classification of that query, and it was all gone. He was like 4 pages deep or whatever, and the brand was up there eating his lunch, right?
Or a
So,
reader looked at it and saw that there was nonsense going. You can't naturally and legally, you gotta cross the line in order to fill up a SERP like that, Dave.
no, it was just Google doing domain crowding.
Yeah, exactly. It's how Google.
It was just domain crowding from Google, meaning there probably wasn't another Audi dealer maybe in that area or whatever. No, it was just domain crowding, dude. It was just domain crowding. It wasn't anything else. You know, and there's tons of patents on that, and Google keeps changing their mind on where to use that, where not to. You don't see as much as you used to, but it's actually Google actually does that kind of stuff on purpose sometimes when it believes it's the right thing to do. But again, you know, and the reason I kind of call that a forensic situation is because a lot of SEOs will just sit there, like you're saying, instead of thinking about shit, they're going to just look at the numbers, go to shit, and go, what happened? Well, in that case, it's Google's fault. Feel free to go to your client and say, hey, here's what happened. Google changed its mind on this classification of this query, and we just got kicked in the nuts. So how's that Amazon stuff working out? You know, like, it's going to happen, man. You know?
Yeah, but even Amazon's cutting down on the stores.
Yeah, it's all going away, apparently.
I don't know. It sounds to me like there you have to be in their fulfillment system or something.
Not sure. But so, yeah, anyways, you know, Google can change its mind at any time. And that's, you know, Terry, you and I talked a lot about that when Hummingbird first came out. One of the things we noticed was how the query classifications were changing, right?
Yeah.
You know, like for an example, guys, like where you would see, like, you know, people were throwing, and if any of you guys remember 2013 too, we noticed that sites with a lot less links were ranking. So yeah, there was obviously something going on with all of that because, you know, you could put in a quasi term, meaning it could be informational, it could be transactional. Google doesn't really know what to do with it. You could have something like that, and it would always be filled up with transactional results, right, Terry? Because those are the guys throwing the links at shit, right? They got the money. So yeah, after Hummingbird, we noticed a lot of these sort of query spaces that weren't very specific. Google was sort of mixing it up. There was a bit of brand, there was a bit of informational, there was a bit of transactional. They were, you know, they changed what they were ranking and sticking in there. So
Yeah, well, that kind of been their game plan since Universal Search. And then when Hummingbird come in, they just added knowledge graph as another node on that Universal Search elements.
yeah, and just playing with all those things, right? Like, you know, like you're saying again, too many SEOs sitting around reading blog posts and listening to John Mueller instead of actually looking at what they're doing and looking at the query space and looking at what's you know, like we've always how we grew up doing it. You know, are you paying attention to it? Like you and I have forced video universals. You know, like anyone ever tries to tell you and me, well, there's not a video universal there, so I'm not going to target it. No, you're an idiot. Google might want one. Have you tried inserting one? Because, you know, it took us, what, a day? It was like a day and boom.
Well, almost any how-to query is going to have a video in it.
Yeah.
That goes without saying, right? It's going to have a video in it.
And if it doesn't, there's your opportunity, my friend.
That's right.
I tell you, I'm building a site on various government assistance programs, just as something to do with a friend, and I do a search for SNAP offices by state, and the government website comes up. Google's #1 listing goes to a 404 page. It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I'm finding a lot of these now. I mean, granted, the government pages that the government's got no clue how to do anything online, and they're just incessant and constantly in different searches that I've been doing. I'm seeing Google linking to 404 pages. They got to clean this shit out.
Yeah, but if it's a government page, they may think, well, the government's going to fix this eventually, and we're still going to want to know the site the page that replaced this one. A lot of authority on a government site, Frank.
No, I know, but I mean, they dated this one is November 19, 2013, and the page is dead, and it's been dead for quite a while.
Oh, then you know what I would do is the feedback on that cert. Put the dead page in it. I bet you it isn't there long.
Okay. Smart. Yeah.
Personally, you know, I'd just be emailing some people I know and going, really?
I would also email the webmaster of the government site and let him know, and maybe you'll get something that way from them.
Yeah. Well, that was my intent once I've got the site fully developed, is to reach out, because there's places where it's interesting for the I think it's support.gov or whatever, one of the ones, they let the states put their own information in. And it's just such a mishmash. Some have got a list of their locations, some are shooting off to off-site. You know, they don't bother doing it. They're sending it to some .org that owns like a whole pile of different domains that they're into linking and things like that. So, yeah, once I've got my site up, I may reach out and say, hey, 1, you've got some problems here, and 2, here's something that's a little more detailed. Because
you know what I do too, Frank, is go to the Wayback Machine, and if the page is in there, see the information that was there, grab it, and if they're not putting their page up, put that one up and see what happens.
Hey, I'm going to try that over the weekend. That's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that one, but that's clever.
My PayPal account, I'll drop it in the thing.
That's it.
Hey, just give me an affiliate link to some program, and I'll just drop an ad in for you.
Oh, God. I guess we'll stick with Barry for one more. We'll move on. Yeah, this is news, Terry. Apparently, the geniuses in the SEO world, he's already shaking his head. Yeah, guess what? After this penguin, it's going to start turning independent and roll on its own. Who knew, Terry? I don't know. We were saying that after the first one that ran.
I think my thinking as being Phantom is a Panda and Penguin update. I think when they say they're running Penguin, it means they're updating the database. But the information they're collecting, that's rolled into whatever it is. That data is already playing havoc with your site, probably a quality score.
Well, we always know all this stuff ends up going real time anyways, right? You know what I mean? It's just same as Panda. We knew that was going to turn into it, and same with this. And they're just tweaking the system. And once the system's good to be, they don't have to babysit it so much anymore. Then they just stick it out in the wild. You know?
Yeah, but they always have to run some sort of dance to propagate this data across their data set. And that's what I think we see when they say we ran a Penguin update. I think that's what we actually.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a data push that it's not actually real time. You know,
Yeah.
again, no Googler ever says that. It's just the industry that seems to run with it and say, well, real time. But yeah, no, all that was said by Gary in this instance was that it's likely there won't be a next one after this, which means, that's probably why it's been taking so long as well, Terry. Think about what they learned when they pushed Panda into the system. Probably learned a lot of lessons, right? So they've been spending this year.
Dave, when we realize that they're running these Penguin and Panda algorithms on kind of a semi-schedule, what did we say? You could actually spam the shit out of stuff and just disavow it just before they're going to run this thing and do that in perpetuity and not get caught.
Right. Announcing that you're running something every 6 months, 1 month, 10, whatever, just tells the spammer, okay, I've got this long before I need to start disavowing. So I'll make my money and get out 2 weeks before it. So yeah, even from Google's vantage point, you got to eventually put it back under the sheets so that they don't know where it is.
When they were running regular Google dances, right, when they updated the link graph, I saw people in the SEO world that were doing exactly that. They do, bad stuff and then take it down just before their dance. Put it back up after.
Yeah, go figure, huh? That was a bright move, wasn't it? Because Panda was going off. Panda was going off, every 6 weeks or so, something like that. You can almost set your watch to it. So.
Oh yeah.
You really want to tell spammers exactly when they can duck their heads.
Oh no, I always kind of shake my head when SEOs think they're smarter than some guy who went to, Stanford and studied what we're trying to do as amateurs and think that we could even fathom half of what he knows. That's what, that's why we can't really re-engineer what they do, because we don't have the qualifications to do it. We're guessing at best.
What do you find there, Frank?
Just that they're starting to drop trending articles, etc., into the search suggest.
Huh. Interesting. What is this? Oh, there's not much info on this.
No, but it's interesting if that's the case. If they're, I'm wondering if, and I'll try this. If it's trending, what happens if you do a search for Prince now?
Huh.
Does it say Prince died?
I would hope so. Google will start offering autocomplete suggestions based on what is the most popularly searched on, as well as your search history.
I got the PRIN, and it's Prince, and then Prince dead, Prince death, Prince dies. The auto suggests. But then again, that would come just for the fact that that's what people are searching for right now.
Yeah. Again, that seems almost what was already there. They're just kind of tweaking it with some personalization and a little more QDF, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Princess Died is pretty recent.
This one I'm just putting in now is like the ultimate. You want to play with Black Hat. Interesting article about Kindle Universal, where people are creating these books, putting them up, and apparently the way that you get paid for Kindle Unlimited, rather, where all the books that get done share the pool of the subscribers' money each month. So there's these people that are creating these 3,000-page books that are 3 pages of decent content at the start, and then just auto-bot stuff, article spins, putting them up there, getting them clicked to the, because apparently the way that they allocate the money is depending on when you pass the book back, where your marker was. So if you read the entire book, but you went back to have a look at the title or something like that, and you put the book back, unfortunately that author only got paid for the first page as opposed to having read the entire thing. It's an interesting algorithm of how they're working out how they divide up the pool of subscriber money to the various books that get read.
Yeah, which is interesting because what else? There was something else on Google Trends this week. Oh yeah, this.
But apparently people are making tens of thousands of dollars a month with this little scam.
Okay, then why didn't you just tell us this in the green room instead of on the air? Now everyone's going to be doing it, man. Damn, dude. Could have made a few bucks here. Yeah.
Well, maybe if I out it,
I'll just go and take every article I've ever written for the last 10 years and throw them in a PDF.
Exactly.
Call it a book. Yeah, so anyway, speaking of Google Trends,
yeah, this is good. I actually used this the other day for...
yeah, me too. As soon as I saw this, I went and started playing around, man. I was like, oh, okay. I like it, actually.
And you can drill it down geographically as well, so that's really handy.
Yeah.
And it's great for also, because it also shows you other associated keywords. In the auto space, it's really good. If you put a brand in, it'll show you what the popular models are, which then gives you an idea of what, if you're using Auto Trader or if you're doing PPC, these are the ones that are the most popular. So to use those keywords, it's got some scope, this one.
Got a link to that?
Oh, yeah, hold on a second, man. Got that for you. Well, I'll just link to the Google Trends, actually. Yeah, you just play with those for a while, Terry. It's kind of fun. Yeah, same thing, Frank. As soon as I saw that, I was like, this could be handy.
I know, exactly.
I like that. That's it.
You don't have to, you're taking advantage of not only, the search volume, but what's actually trending in particular geographic areas. So you can, go, okay, other particular, in the case of the automotive, other, say, Audi or Lexus or whatever, the models that are trending high. So it's like, okay, these are the ones that you want to concentrate on because you're going to get more lift from it.
Yeah, and at the bottom, like you were saying, here, I'll put this up for the people watching. Like you were saying, like down at the bottom here, you've got other topics. Like related searches shows you topics and queries. Like before, it was just queries for anyone who hasn't played around in here.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
It's just I'm sure we could find this in other places, but I mean, this actually gives you, anything that's hitting hot.
Well, it's interesting because this one's about shooting. If you look at the rising related topics, it's got black as a color, red as a color, white as a color, right? Then brands like Air Jordan and stuff like that. And all you did was search shoe, right? So apparently, red shoes are in. black. Go make yourself some white, black, and red shoes in a hurry. Get them out there. See, I don't know, because I'm in the automotive industry like you are, so definitely going to play around with that at some point. Yeah, I think it's really handy. I do. Thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, any sort of information that you can get on the higher end, areas of search where, big buy, and the auto behind the home, cars are your next biggest outlay of, big cash.
Yeah. Yeah, that's neat, man. Look at us. We just forget the show now. We're just all playing around in Google Trends. Okay. We are geeks. I'm sorry.
Well, hey, sometimes you see something, you want to, sort of get as much insight to it and how it can be used.
How do you search?
Well, yeah, I've always said that a tool is only as good as the information you're looking to get out of it. You know, what works for one person doesn't work for me. So I play with everything. You have to. Oh, where am I off to? Oh, yeah, it was funny. Frank, you were sharing this one with me earlier. As soon as I got here, I thought for a second, is Mike Blumenthal like got the same theme as Bill? I was like, wait, what blog am I on? Is this SEO by the Sea? Where am I? It's like, oh, no, okay.
Yeah, he keeps changing his look, Blumenthal. He's always playing with it.
All right, so yeah, what do we got here? Okay, so what's this listing anyways, Frank? We were bitching about this earlier.
Well, what they're doing is they're dropping ads into
Organic?
into the pack. If you scroll past it where the arrow is.
Yeah.
Yeah, go back up to the top. There. They're actually dropping in. You can pay for these.
Really? Now, do you have to be in that pack to start with, or is it just a quick access?
I haven't had a chance to play with it, but I think it's you're paying enough and they're getting enough for the click, they're going to drop you in. And again, it's only going to work for
It looks like what could be described as a premium listing.
Yeah. Well, they've been playing with this, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing with car dealerships soon. Because remember that test they did in San Francisco of actually listing vehicles for a while? That was about 2-3 years ago.
They do something like that with insurance, don't they, Frank?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't done any insurance work for a couple of years, but yeah, I think I've seen that. And that I just dropped this link. It goes back to the trends one, where you can actually put in. This is how I started to use it, and it really sort of showed up something interesting. Is you can do it by state and the model, and then it shows you the locations where they're the most popular. So if you're a dealership in, say, Miami, and all of a sudden there's a big push for searches for the Lexus RX that I used here in Boca or Palm Beach, then you want to increase your reach into the advertising there to bring them down to you because it's not that far.
Right.
I'm going to play with this over the weekend for different industries and see how it plays out. But I think that'll give you a good idea of ways to, where you should be reaching, whether you're going to optimize particularly for that area with particular, whether it's a car or whether it's another product, and get, because it's showing you the interest that's higher in certain areas than others. Let's see how long it lasts. We may realize that they're giving away a little bit too much information.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think they would? Or is, a spammer, and something like this could help marketers better focus content, which would help Google? You know.
Yeah,
This
no,
might
no.
be it might be in their favor, right?
Yeah,
It'd be interesting if you were doing PPC.
yeah, exactly.
Region stuff.
Mhm. That's the first thing I thought of. And also, if in the auto space, where you can pick by zip code into where your banner ads appear in Cars.com and Auto Trader and places like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And especially, you pick a state, you find the ones that are not necessarily right in your town, but if it's 10, 15, 20 miles away, why not advertise there? Because people do that search and then they come to wherever the deals are. They're willing to travel that little distance.
Yeah, this thing's neat, eh? Yeah, there's some fun to be had in this thing, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
again,
nice change.
I'm using it specifically for the automotive space, but I think you can really, I think you could do it for doctors, lawyers, particular types of lawyers, and find, okay, you want to create some content around this particular area because it may be easier to actually get into the organic results around a particular neighborhood. That sort of cross-application should be really interesting to see.
Mm.
Location-based, how to pick the locations. I mean, if you were doing a restaurant, if you were thinking of opening a restaurant of a particular type, whether it's Thai, Chinese, Japanese, and you did this sort of search, will it show up which areas are doing more searches for it, and then have a look at what the competition is, and then possibly use that as a decision-making factor.
Yes, much fun, man. Yeah, we'll have to probably play around with this and then report back with our findings, folks, because I think, there's probably a few things. I like it. What else we got?
It's fun when Google throws out a tool that everyone knows, oh, okay, this is a really interesting new piece of information that you've given us, and now let's play with it and see what we can do with it. They don't do it often enough. And
once it's part of your regular tool set, Frank, they'll take it away.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't know how long it's going to last, but in the short term, you may as well jump on it and use it as much as you can.
All right. This one's just for Terry. I'm sorry, Terry. Let me scroll up to the. There we go.
Well, I gotta say, I agree with that one.
Yeah. The reason we laugh, folks, is because Google just seems to be a bit confusing at times because they tell you that space is important, then they keep putting more tags into your page. Like, put this analytics code in. We got to switch out for tag manager. Hold on, we need you to put these authors in while you edit. Thank you very much. Oh, and before you're done closing your editor, can you get those route canonicals in as well? Thank you very much.
The ref line.
And now please switch over to AMP and make your site HTTPS. Well, you should really worry about page load. Yeah, okay.
Has anyone here played with the AMP thing? I haven't done it yet, so I'm curious as to whether or not they're seeing a change in the search results based on it.
I have not done anything with it. It seems to me like it's too early to fool with it.
Yeah, but someone's got it.
Yeah, but if it's like Jennifer was saying yesterday, you can get a plugin that does it. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, for WordPress, yeah.
Have you tried the plugin though? Does it really do anything besides mess up your pages? I don't know.
Well, at this point, the only place they really talked about it or using it or anything is Google News anyway. So if you're an e-commerce site, I'm not sure
Yeah, but it makes
how.
sense to use it there because of the amount of news that probably is read on mobile.
Yeah.
Oh, in the news world, for sure.
Great point.
And the one article I was reading this week, Google was saying that they're testing with AMP news sites, not just sites in general, but news sites. Not only were they loading faster, Terry, but they were actually a smaller download. So again, anybody who's paying for so many gigabytes a month for their roaming charges, this can, it's at least Google's thinking that way. That hey, or even you, Terry, because you've been having that thing lately with your bloody bandwidth. So yeah, it actually uses 4 times less bandwidth as far as your roaming charges and shit goes when they download one of those pages. So yeah. I could say I definitely see Google won't be going too far on that one. This isn't going to be. This one seems like it'll stick. But again, yeah, it's all news right now, and news carousels and news articles.
Yeah. Hey, Tim,
Yeah.
I know that you're doing the SSL thing with site. Did you think to benchmark it before you do the SSL?
I did, and so far I only have one point to look at, but that I actually applied it to my company website, and I used webpagetest.org, and it went from like 1.7 or 8 seconds for the page load on average to maybe 2.1, which is a big percentage increase, but in terms of time, actual user experience, it's pretty small.
If they blink, they miss it.
Yeah, exactly. I think page load time does matter. We were just laughing about what Google says and how they keep contradicting themselves. But from a user experience standpoint, I think it does matter. But that's a great question. I wondered about that, so I did benchmark it. So.
But you know what I find kind of, and maybe I'm wrong because I haven't worked with divs yet, but in the old days, the way browsers rendered stuff, I could put a table at the top, and that page would look like it's coming in really fast, even though it was taking a lot longer than it does now. But because all these blogs are built with a container that puts everything in one container, that does not happen.
Yep,
What I'm wondering is do one of you know if I take a div and put it at the top, will that do the same thing?
I frankly don't really get down to that level of detail with the stuff that I do for my little clients. I use prepackaged themes. I modify them a little bit, but I think your point technically is well taken. It never really matters that much.
To me, load speed is more about the perception of the user. I could care less about what Google thinks, because personally, I think their tool deserves to be taken out back behind the barn and come out of their misery.
Well, that may be true.
Stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it had me optimizing images to the point that they didn't. That there is noticeable degradation in the quality of my images, and they said I should still be optimizing them even further.
Well, and of course, there's the whole fact that they have at least two different mobile testing tools, and so I think people get confused by that right off the bat, because there's the mobile friendly test that's in I guess it's in Google Search Console, but then there's also the page speed mobile testing, and I think people get confused by that all the time. But yeah, frankly, I don't really, I don't know exactly what they expect of us sometimes. I guess you could look at it cynically and say, well, the more confusing they make it, then the more work there is for SEOs. But that's not really a happy way to go through life with clients, because they won't appreciate that, not a bit.
Yeah, I see these things. I had a client and I just laughed at them. Said, okay, I'll follow all the things, and then, they come back and said, well, it's still not fast. And I said, look at your images. It's still not passing this stupid test. Well, A, it treats every website, whether it's an e-commerce site or some informational site with one graphic at the top, treats it the same as an e-com site that could have 100 calls on the page to get resources, right? On an e-commerce site. I actually had one that was over 150.
Wow. Wow.
But we were displaying on the front page over 100 products.
You know, it seems to me like I have this little protected corner of the world in the vertical that I'm in compared to you guys with e-commerce and your international concerns. Sometimes I feel like I'm sort of on another planet compared to all the concerns that you all deal with all the time.
Well, come on, the real fun is international and national. Not only in different countries, but then you've got different distributors and areas of different parts of the country within the country, and then it just gets really clusterfucky at that point, right?
Yeah.
You pretty well just have to worry about local, Tim?
Yeah, pretty much, and almost all U.S. I have a few clients that may be in the pipeline that would be in Canada, but that isn't really happening yet. So, yeah, it's all local, really. And there's very few that are multi-office. A few are. Those, when I get a multi-office client, that's my happy dance time. But, yeah, pretty simple. I feel humble.
Have you ever looked at Suite IQ?
Suite IQ? No, although that for some reason that sounds familiar.
Yeah, they used to have a trial period, but I did some content stuff and helped them out. I know the guys for a while. It's an interesting tool, but there's a lot of them out there. They track reviews and they also track citations, and then they go through and double check the NAPs so that you can go in and they do a search throughout everything and come back with results where the NAPs are a little off, where street's spelt out or it's ST and just different ways, because that'll make an impact. If you to do it local, the more you can uniform all the listings that you've got in your NAPs, that's a handy tool. And then finding citation places where that are based local and around your niche industry.
Well, I appreciate that.
Out of Montreal, right, Frank?
Yeah, exactly.
IQ, yeah, they're good guys. Me and Dave know.
Yeah.
Is it Suite like the Taste Suite? SWEET?
SWEET IQ.
Okay, I'll look them up. I use Bright Local for citation tracking and also for rank tracking to the degree that I do it. But I'm always looking for new tools or better tools. So, and I'm lazy. I use Moz Local to take care of some of that stuff.
Towards like the bigger end, their idea, and that was when I was trying to help them, they wanted the franchises, the big companies like McDonald's, etc., that have multiple locations, and I'm going, and they were selling like the entry level, I think, is $99 a month. And I'm going, you can get a lot of people that'll come in that have 2 or 3 locations, or even one, and they really want to use your tool. That'll pay that $99 because it does the same thing. It'll track tool, keywords. But it does a review place where you can see and link back to bad reviews that you can reply to. Its platform was good, but their perspective to me was just off. I'm going like, mate, you don't understand. You can make far more money with a lot of people that are using it, because with the $99, I think you get 5 or 10 websites. Whereas, if you're a solo, a business, but you want to improve it, they're not using up as many resources. Yeah. So why not have 5,000 people one-ofs than trying to get the enterprise level people that are paying you, $1,000? Yeah. Just the number wise.
Yeah, it could be a support issue maybe too for them though. Support can be such a headache. Sometimes I wonder if people make decisions that are heavily weighted because of that. I appreciate the tip though. I've been using a tool. In fact, I was talking with Dave about it earlier in the Dojo forum. A tool called grade.us for review monitoring, and it's been pretty good. I've gotten some pretty good results with it for some clients. So that's.
I'll have to play with that one.
Yeah, I looked at. There were two that I looked at back in January. That one and one called Get5stars.com, which I think Bruce Clay has some involvement with. I think. Or, no, it's made. It's. I'm sorry, it's Mike Blumenthal, and they were both good. They both had some points that were strengths and some that were weaknesses, and they were different in those areas. But ultimately, I went with Grade S, and I've been very happy with it. I'm lazy. I'm a tools guy. Anything I can find a tool for that I can afford, I do. I'm trying to keep things very simple.
Did you try Citation Finder?
Say that again.
Did you try Darren's tool? Citation Finder?
I do have. Let's see. Let's see.
That's
Which one? White Spark is that's Darren, right? Yeah. I have looked at their tools too. In fact, one thing I'm waiting for is for him to come back and say that he's finished updating them, and then I'll look at them again. That's last time I did. I ended up going with Bright Local for the tool set that I'm using for a lot of things. But I like Darren and his company a lot, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Darren's good people.
He is. He definitely is.
All right, so and then a survey done with 1,000 people on the internet. Take that for what you will. Came up with this, Terry. Always interesting. When using an informational query, would you be more likely to click the organic results or the ads? Organic 75, transactional query organic 65. Look at the ads, 7%.
Bullshit. Most of them probably don't even know they're clicking ads.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it, man. Because uses ad blocker is higher than clicking on ads.
There's a good reason that Google removed the ads down the side. No one clicked those. They only clicked the links above the SERP, and that added more competition for the links. So
Remarketing.
They're inserting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was moving on, so you can finish what you were on that topic.
Well, I was just talking about changing placement. The other thing that has just begun to happen, and now I'm seeing it a lot, is inserting ads into the local results.
Yeah, that was actually something that Frank was showing us earlier.
That was really something. Yeah, maybe that was when I stepped away, but yeah, that's a big deal. I'm sorry, go ahead. Anyway, remarketing.
Services, pretty soon, all that stuff will be paid.
Yeah.
Within 5 years, everything that is local now will be paid. You can.
I think you're right. I do.
All right, folks, we're going to mark Terry's words right there. So we're remarketing now. Remarketing, 79% dislike it, 3% like it. Do you feel negatively towards the business that use remarketing? 73% said yes. 8% said no. Yeah. Well, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not. I don't mind it, I guess, but to me, it's just like I'll visit a client site or somewhere like that, and all of a sudden, their ads are. I'm like, well, no.
Okay. To me, this doesn't make sense because normal people don't know what remarketing.
Actually, you'd be surprised, dude. When I actually talk to people down at the local pub about what I do, and they say, what do you mean you work in the internet? And I get into it a bit more, they do actually bring up, why do these ads follow me? They don't know it's called remarketing, obviously,
Right,
but they sure as fuck know that these ads are following them around.
Right. But most of them don't know what company or why it's happening.
Yeah, probably.
That's why they're asking you, why is this happening?
And can you make it stop?
Yeah. Well, I could take you out back and shoot you if you want. That's how we can make it stop.
Personalization.
You know that our industry has gotten a bad name in the general public because you go back about 3 or 4 years, and then prior to that, say 10 years ago, and then go forward 6. For those 6 years, when you went out somewhere and you told them that you did internet marketing, they'd go, I have this website, just like if you went to a party and you said you were a doctor and everyone showed up and said, I've got this ailment.
Yeah.
Now they just look at you with, disdain. Whereas in the old, you go back a few years, it used to be, oh, okay, I have this website, what can I do? They don't ask that question anymore. They sort of like move away from you like you're diseased.
Yeah, they lumped us in with used car salesmen and lawyers.
That's why I always say I'm a web developer.
I just used to say I'm a pornographer.
Yeah, you might be better off. They'll be like, you got anything good on you?
Well, that would put you higher up on the scale than lawyers anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right, so number 5, how do the public think Google personalizes search results? 69, think past search history. 61, my location. 54, previous visits to the same site. 38, believe because of the location of the business. I think that's kind of the same as the one above it, though. So, yeah. How do you behave when you see an ad and organic result for the same website in the same search results, aka brand lift?
Huh.
So 54% are saying more likely to click on the organic listing. 4% said the ad. 42% said no.
Actually, the thing I'd be curious about is whether that makes them more or less inclined to eventually look at the website or choose to buy from the company. In other words, are they impressed by advertising, or are the company invested?
Yeah, what it's called is brand lift, and there's probably more than a few studies running around. I haven't seen one recently, but generally speaking, in most studies I've ever seen on it, that is the case, and that makes the case for having both. So.
Yeah.
Like Terry said, though, I don't know how that would play out now that the side ads are gone. Does that still play out the same? I don't know.
Bullshit. Yeah, I'll tell you. Oh, okay.
Apparently that's all bullshit. Right.
Oh, I was talking to my brother.
Yeah, I know. We're just so used to you saying it around with anything we're reading anyway, so. Just, okay, man, sure.
This one's good.
Sorry?
I like this one.
Yeah, okay, so that...
Money your business pays to Google impacts the ranking factors.
Yeah. So, what do these people think ranks a web page? So 49% said relevancy of the page, okay. 49% said, how do you get, like, over 100%? Anyways. High click-through rate, okay. And yeah, like Frank just said, money paid to Google. Yeah.
Was that at the top of the list?
Well, it's right there at 46%, man. It's it's pretty much even with the rest of them. Yeah. So.
I gotta start telling my customers this, and then say, I need that little dash of money I hand off to Google on top of my fees.
The payoff.
Ooh.
Exactly.
That means Frank gets to claim brown paper bags on his taxes.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. That was it. Okay, there you go. I just thought it was kind of funny. Some interesting stuff. Yeah, money paid to Google. Thanks, Frank. Yeah.
It's not surprising that people would think that, partly because we get all of these junk calls all the time from scammers claiming to be calling from Google. In fact, I got one right at the beginning of this this webinar or this webcast. Oh yeah, this is Julie from Google, and we can put you on page 1. We have some space left. It's like, oh, come on, really? Jeez.
I love those calls.
Hello, this is Sanjay from Microsoft. Can you please give me access to your remote?
Yeah, right. Or better yet, with that accent, they say, "Hi, this is Larry."
Yeah. My wife loses it on those guys, whatever they call.
Crazy.
That's idiotic. Okay, well.
Hey.
Because I don't know how, they must be selling lists from various job boards. because I get 2 or 3 calls a day now from heavily Indian accent people trying to place me at a job, and they haven't read my resume, they haven't looked at anything to understand that I would not be appropriate. They're just shotgunning everyone, because they work on commission. If they can get 20 people applied to jobs and one of them happens to land a job, they get paid, and if no one gets it, they don't get paid.
I guess the interesting thing about that, though, Frank, is that must mean that there's a fair amount of demand for people that could be described, I suppose, as you would be, as being SEOs or something related to that.
Yeah, I do a lot of project management type stuff for, like I've done it for Auto Trader, and I've done it for different other companies. So they see project management in there, and all of a sudden I'm an IT project manager, I'm a pharmaceutical project manager. They just don't look beyond. They do a keyword search.
Yeah.
They don't know how to use search engines, and they don't read what the hell they find in their search results.
Yeah, but they want to place you somewhere.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Guys, I have a legit question about a situation that I've got right now. Can I ask?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a client who is in an interesting situation. They're a department of a large nonprofit, well-known healthcare organization in a major city. And my client is the VP in charge of what they call their private duty division. That is their home non-medical caregiving business, which is one of my areas of expertise. And they want to create a separate website, all their own, for their part of the business. Right now, they get 2 pages on the big corporate mothership website, and the company, the mothership, they completely agree with having a separate site. My question is this: other than creating a new domain name and creating a website for them and doing everything we can in terms of normal SEO for them, is there anything else special about that situation that you can think of that we should be trying to do? Clearly, we'll have links from the mothership site to the new private duty site. Is there anything else that comes to mind?
Did they? I did some work with Novartis for one of their endocrine tumors, or I even forget the exact thing. But what they did was they created 2 communities: one for patients and their families, and then another for the medical. So, if you're going to create a standalone about a particular health industry information, you may want to look at the perspective of one from the people that are sick, the patient side and that community, and then also the medical, because the medical, the level of information that you give them can be a lot more intense, whereas the average person and their family members looking to find out more about a particular disease or malady or whatever you want to call it, aren't going to be able to understand that high level of chemical and everything else that goes with it. So dividing those out, but then you're going to have, and you'll want to optimize for it, because you're going to have the medical side that do that higher level jargon search. So you want to rank for that.
Yeah, in this particular case, it's non-medical care, but I understand the point you're making, and the idea of separating out a community for people to participate in. That's an interesting idea. I was thinking too about leveraging the brand power of the corporate website and trying to build off that.
Yeah, I don't believe in leveraging anybody's other people's anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why should you help them rank?
Well, in this case, it's my client that might be getting some ranking advantage from the mothership, the big, that they're part of. Yeah, that's my client is that little department that's trying to stand out.
But in your case, I know a bit about your business.
Yes, you do.
And if I were you, I would go at 2 communities, like he said, one for the caregivers and one for the families and whatnot. That's how I go about it.
Got it.
If you're going to make another site, there's only so much information where you're just duplicating what's on the other site. Have a different strategy, Tim.
Yeah.
So you're actually leveraging a new website.
Yeah, in fact, in this case, they only have a very small amount of data on the corporate site because, frankly, they're a relatively small part of the overall health system that they're part of. I mean, they're part of some big name hospital systems, but there's almost nothing about the non-medical care department on that mothership site, the big corporate one. That's why they want the new site, to be able to expand on that. So we've done that. I mean, I know how to build those sites. So.
Well, no, I would definitely use the mothership. You know, any areas on the mothership pages that would have relevance to what you're doing. To say for more information here.
Yeah.
That type of thing, so that you're getting direct traffic, and it would be the area where that traffic should come from.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're leveraging it purely based on the association and a keyword, and
Yeah.
Google will see that as a natural follow-on. It's funny, Google themselves do this. I noticed this because a friend of mine has DannyWeb, which is a developers forum, and it was bigger and around before Stack Overflow.
Okay.
But I was looking for some API stuff in the Google developer site. They have a permanent link to Stack Overflow now for a forum where you can discuss how to use their APIs. And I was like, because Danny's traffic went from 9 to 12 million a month down to like 4 to 6. And I think that's purely based on the fact that Stack Overflow very cleverly reached out to biz dev people in the various APIs and things like that, and that's how they managed to get all the positioning with Google.
Yeah.
So I mean, using that leverage of where the mothership being an authoritative site and the ancillary part of what this new site's going to be. You just find the right pages. You're going to have to spend some time on the mothership finding where it would be appropriate to link to.
There are some excellent opportunities for that sort of contextual linking on the mothership. Right now on the mothership, before we launch this new site, there is a link in the header of all the pages to a topic they call private duty, which links at the moment to the two content pages that are on the mothership site now that talks about the private duty department. And we're actually having some discussion right now about whether they should, in the future, leave those content pages on the mothership and have links from those pages to the new site versus just have, is that what you would do? Is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
that would be my strategy for sure. Because you got all the links in the menu.
Yeah.
Pointing at those two pages, you aren't going to need any other links on that other site.
Well, the other possibility would be to change those header links to just point to the private duty site. That's the other possibility we could consider. But I don't.
You get more power from site-wide links within your own sites than you do. You'd almost end up with a issue of site-wide links to an external.
Yeah.
That also makes it look like an advertisement, Tim. I go down that road.
Yeah, those are great points. Good. This is really helpful. Thank you. This is exactly the kind of input I was looking for. Appreciate it.
No worries. Dropping their PayPal links into the dojo later. All right. Well, since we, to get this back on a serious note.
Oh yeah.
Did anybody take the Ultimate SEO quiz?
Of course.
Okay.
I was afraid I would not pass, so I did not take it.
Yeah. There's some awesome crap in this site, I'll tell you. I have known about RankBrains since 18 months ago when I registered everything. Canonicalization is a very long word.
Yes.
Something to do with the superhero backstory. Or yet, one more thing that Google handles better than Bing. SEO stands for Scrub Every Orifice.
I like that one.
That's a Sewage Enforcement Officer. Search engine oopsies. Simon eats oranges. Or something to do with Google.
In Japan, there actually is a sewage enforcement.
Wow.
That's the answer I gave.
The best conference out there is that one that was big 10 years ago that no one goes to now. The one the guy who used to run the blog 10 years ago runs now. Danny. The one's in a fantastic boondoggle location. Or the one that lets me speak. Yes.
Yeah, that was my answer. The one that lets me speak.
Sure.
The most important aspect of SEO is A, pretending that I know what I'm talking about. B, repeating whatever John Mueller says. C, that I get paid to do whatever it is that my boss thinks I do. C, links. I heard someone at a conference say that, so it must be the case. My ability to filibuster on the topic until whoever I'm talking to has their eyes glazed over. What level of focus that I put on optimizing for Bing is A, what's Bing? Poorly worded, ambiguous question. Something that sounds sort of right, but probably isn't. This one has to be wrong. Let me go ahead and read the question again. It doesn't make sense with this answer. Latent semantic indexing. Oh, you fuckers. This has got to be someone I know. Maybe it's called canonicalization. But that was question number 2. They could ask that again, couldn't they? All right, so yeah, I don't. There you go, folks. It's in the links in the show notes, and I thought it was funny as hell.
Hey, speaking of conferences, is anybody in this group or on this call, do any of you remember SoftCon?
Nah.
Are we back to talk about porn again, or?
Yeah, really.
Sponsored by Viagra?
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why there was only one. It was a big show back in probably, oh my gosh, the late 70s, early 80s, and it was in New Orleans, and they had one, and that was the only time they ever had one. And then after that, Semicon began to become a much bigger deal.
So this was pre-web.
It is. It was back when we were running spreadsheets on System 32s.
Okay. I still remember, it was a DEF CON at the Javits Center when I first learned about the World Wide Web in '92.
Yeah.
Like, what? I was so used to, bulletin boards and FTP, IRC, Archie, Veronica, all that crap. Usenet.
Yep. First time I ever got on the web was when I went to work at Borland International in the R&D department, and somebody had handed out information about how to get onto Yahoo, and that was like an eye-opener for me. So,
I remember in the '90s, there were guys going around creating access like you were selling cable. They'd get some doctors to invest in a bunch of modems, and they would go out and sell it door to door.
Yep.
It was clever. Didn't last long, but it was clever at the time.
I got my home internet access from that kind of a company probably back in those days. So.
Remember the 300 baud modems, and then when the 14.4, 28.8. I jumped from 28.8 to 56K, but there was the 33 threes that were there briefly. Yep. It was all about, you were always constantly upgrading the speed of your modem so the pictures loaded a little quicker, and it still took forever.
Yep. I was on CompuServe when I started all this stuff, and I had a 300 baud modem, and when I finally was able to get a 450, it was like, the heavens had opened.
Oh, come on, man. 56K was the bomb.
Yeah.
Remember all those download helpers and everything we used to have?
Yeah.
Because you could never keep a connection long enough to download anything that would take a day or two. So.
Well, what about Internet in a Box? Came with Netscape or Mosaic or whatever it was, and Yeah.
Who was it that used to send all those CDs out? Was it AOL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
I still come across a lot of people with AOL.com email addresses.
Yeah, I still have one.
Yeah.
Dude, like I literally manage some larger sites that do a lot of traffic, and yeah, they still actually send, fuck all, but they just seeing it there on my search reports, I'm like, wow, look at that. Who knew?
I actually have one acquaintance who has a CS.com email address, CompuServe. He's the only one I know that still has that. So.
Yeah, that was me getting out of adult gaming in 2001. That was the Christmas my sister, who's a complete Luddite, bought all her Christmas presents online. I thought, okay, it's time now. I can become legitimate. That's when I started working down at Wall Street.
The world is finally getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now look at this.
Yeah, Danny Sullivan recommended me for the job down at Forex Capital Markets.
Awesome. I made a dime off of Danny. I'll have to email him about that.
The first serious job I had in industry after I first worked in public accounting, I worked for a chemical manufacturer, a small one, and we used teletypes to communicate with our offices in our distributors, really, in Japan and Europe. And after being there a couple of years, finally, we decided to make the big jump into this newfangled technology called fax machines. And we ended up switching to that and getting rid of our teletype machines, or telex, I guess it was.
Yeah. Well, I used the Candy Trash 80s in the 80s as a reporter, and it was such a waste of time because the size of the screen, you only saw 2 sentences, 2 lines of type, and then it would disappear and you couldn't scroll back. So you still had to call in to verify everything with the copy editor. It was like, really? I can write it quicker on a piece of paper and read it to you over the phone, but they were all geared towards using the technology.
Yeah.
Dude, we had it's one of my favorite stories to this day. I don't know, this is probably 98 or something. When was that lawyer guy, Ken? Was that back 98, 99 or something? The guy who emailed you all those pages? Literally, dude, this is probably 98 or 99 or something like that. Anyways, it was this older jet, 65 or something. He was a lawyer down in Florida. He had his secretary print out all the pages of his website. There was only about 20 or so. It was informational, kind of brochureware, right? Anyway, so he had her print all the pages out. And then he went there with his marker and circled things and made notes, changed this, changed that, put it all into a manila envelope and had it couriered up here. It was awesome. It was so awesome, man. I was like, you kidding me, right, buddy? Okay. All right. The memories, boys.
Yeah.
You've been doing this too long. Sadly, I wish fucking Google Q&A thing here would have actual timestamps on shit, because some people were asking a few things. I wasn't paying attention.
Guys, I'm gonna drop off. I've got to get ready for a call. It's been nice. Talk to you later.
Always a pleasure, man.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Yeah.
I'd like to move a blog to a subfolder, the guy asks, as in example.com/blog. But I'm worried about the risk. Would you guys redirect each blog post and risk those questionable links impacting the main route domain? Hey?
So wait a second. He has the blog now at a different...
I'm not really sure. If you look at the Q&A thing, he doesn't really...
How do I get to the Q&A thing? Oh, there it is.
Oh, he's saying it's on a subdomain now and that he wants to move it to a folder.
Why?
Anyways, former SEO agency did most of their link building to that blog subdomain. Some good links, but also a lot of questionable ones. So then I guess he's going on in part 2 to say, if he puts in a subfolder, is any nastiness going to pass? I think these days subdomains really aren't treated separately from the site anymore. Anyone? You guys?
No, yeah, they're all included. It's not like the old days where a subdomain is a separate website.
So yeah, if there's any risk, it's just getting rid of the crappy links. So yeah, if it's affecting you, but brother, it's going to affect you no matter where it is, subdomain or even in a subfolder. I don't think that would make much of a difference, personally. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he's. Yeah, he had a two-part question. I didn't see the other part. So no, I don't think you're any kind of big risk there, brother. Well, you might be, but it's not going to be changed by where you put the blog. Yeah, once upon a time we used to always consider the subdomain to be almost a separate entity, but I don't think so anymore. Not me.
Now the question, how's this one? The question is, if you move the content to the subdomain,
Oh, Scotty's still there. Yeah, he just said subdomain. So yes, go ahead, man.
if you move the content from the subdomain to a subdirectory, and don't 301 it, but on the server side you redirect only the links that are in the inbound links to the new subdirectory, how would that impact? There you go, Terry.
I never tried that, but I bet you that might be an approach. You know, again, you're still better off just disavowing and doing what you can about the crappy links.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately. But yeah, that's entirely possible. You're saying don't 301 the page-to-page level?
Yeah, I mean, if you kill the pages, right? You still have the inbound links that are, you know, that you could server side. I think you can. I'd have to play with this now. I know you used to be able to. In the server side, the inbound links, specific links, you can redirect those on the server side.
Yeah, it depends. Can you do that on Microsoft, Terry?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, he's busy chatting with people. Never fucking.
I had another someone else asking me stuff.
We're just it never ends, does it?
Yeah, that adult video chat gets a little distracting while you're working, doesn't it?
I have enough trouble doing one thing at once. Two's kind of really pushing the limits.
All right, so what Frank was talking about is not redirecting the blog entirely on its own like an HD access round.
Are they bad pages? They have bad links pointing at them?
Right. Now, yeah, can you redirect actual links themselves on a case-by-case basis? Is the question.
What I do is, if the content is usable, I tell them, we'll 410 the page, rewrite the content a bit, call it a new file. Trying to 301 that stuff, you can send the toxic stuff around to the new page too.
Yeah, so I guess another option is actually another option would be to contact the people who are linking to you that you think are good links and asking them to link now to the new page. That's probably the safest way to do it, depending on how many links we're talking. Are we talking millions? Are we talking a couple hundred?
Yeah, but so, I never
pass the toxicity
that's being hit by any kind of a penalty or penguin or any of that stuff. Never.
Yeah.
And I found with manual penalty, Frank, if you take the stuff right down, that's the easiest way to get the to break those links. I actually
we were doing this a couple of years ago with one of your clients, remember?
Yeah, I actually broke every link on the site by changing the
URL structure.
No, I changed the canonicalization of the site, basically. Told Google that the opposite one was now the real one, and fixed it that way. And then did a no index on the old stuff, or removed the old stuff, and had to change the canonicalization in order to free the homepage up. This is where it was a big company, and it's going to cost them a lot of money to rebrand all their locations, and their site was badly penalized.
Which, yeah, again, so Scotty, you got to do a little forensic homework too and see if those dodgy links have actually hurt you or not. If you haven't had a manual penalty, if you don't see any hockey sticks around a known algorithm update or something, then I wouldn't probably worry about it too much. But again, so I don't know the specifics of that situation. But if you do feel you have been affected, then yeah, you probably want to go a route where moving it to that subdirectory or subfolder, whatever you want to call it, is you clean it up as you make that move. Like Terry's saying, if you have gotten some shit in the past, then yeah, break the chain, and then you can always try and contact the people you think you had good links from and say, hey, by the way, we had to move this due to infrastructure, whatever. Make up some story and ask them to adjust their links.
Yeah, that's what I would do. The other thing is, if you're checking for Penguin, please don't use SEM Rush or that other dodgy shit. Use
your brain. Analytics. It's in there.
You have to use analytics, Google Analytics, in order to really know. And I would just filter to Google traffic, run that through the, what's it called, Dave? The Penguin tool?
Yeah, Penguin,
Yeah,
or something like that.
Barracuda. We'll include a link to that in our notes, but that's the only tool I use. Every other tool is not showing you.
Terry, Barracuda, right?
Yeah, the Penguin. It's Panguin. Hey, I've got the link.
Hey, I'm gonna put it on the show notes here on the event page for him. Incoming there, Scotty.
From January 2011 until present, that will show you every Panda and Penguin and Phantom update on that tool.
So yeah, before you start making wholesale decisions on anything forensic related, you got to decide if anything happened, if something did happen, what is it, etc., etc. And again, I don't know if we're talking about a million links or if we're talking about a few hundred or 20 or
Yeah,
that's going to make a difference.
Another thing that I do to check the quality of a page is I go to Majestic and divide the trust flow by the citation flow, or vice versa. Now, I keep forgetting which one it is, but if you divide one into the other, it should come out to somewhere close to 0. That identifies bad pages.
Right. And Steve didn't show up, but
Who, Garen, sir?
no, Plunkett.
Oh, yeah.
He was trolling me earlier this week. I'm sure Frank saw this. Yeah. That's what my friends are for. They find articles that have rank brain and LSI in them. Oh yeah. It's got LSI and rank brain in the same article. Oh yeah. I love it. Yeah. I eventually just had to close down my TweetDeck search stream for rank brain. I just couldn't take it anymore. And Ammon's not here either because Larry published another article this week.
Well, Larry left Google Plus.
What's that?
Larry.
What was that? I don't know.
Google Plus. Ammon wrote him off.
Anyways, yeah. Apparently, there was a Moz article about click data, and go figure it was on the Moz. But yeah. So I was looking forward to trolling him back, but he's off drinking with the boys at Brighton right now.
It's okay if I turn on Netflix later.
That's a big crowd. I saw a picture on Facebook, I think. Marcus Topa was, it looked like he was almost taking a picture from backstage at a concert. They had, it's like a balcony as well as the main room, and the entire thing was filled. So that's why I asked him. I said, "You sure this is not, you backstage at some concert, passing it off as the attendance of this?" Because there could have been, a few thousand people in the auditorium on 2 levels, which I've never seen. I mean, I've been to a lot of big conferences where, maybe 1,500 of the 8,000 that are showing up cram into one room. But this looked like there was 3,000 to 5,000 people.
Well, it's also the Friday on Brighton, and they're not stupid. They know everyone's going drinking tonight, so.
Yeah. They must have been handing out free drink tickets.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure Ammon's just showing up. He's not even paying to get in. He'll just wait around to go to the bar afterwards. I don't think he's paid to get in, man. That's all I'd ever do, anyways. If I was going to a conference, screw the sessions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever paid to go to a conference.
Yeah, no.
By the time they started, they were asking me to speak at them.
Yeah, that's all I get mostly. And I say, how much does it pay? And then I say, hello?
Free
Hello?
room. Well, SES used to give you a couple of nights' rooms.
Yeah, no thanks. No. My time's worth money. They can give me some actual fucking money. So.
Yeah, especially when they were hitting those numbers. But now, apparently, if you want to have a panel at ClickZ Live, you've got to pay. You've got to find someone that's willing to sponsor your session.
In other words, they can't get people to pay to go to the conference. They're now selling speakerships.
Well, no, I don't see people. They don't even have a free expo pass anymore. They're all doing that now. There's no free expo passes. You got to pay at least $25 just to get into the expo, and that proves such a disservice to the exhibitors. Why wouldn't you do that way?
They charge the exhibitors and then charge people to go and see their exhibit. That's a pretty way, only in the SEO industry would they get it coming and going.
Yep. Yeah, it's sad.
And to me, I never got a decent lead from any of the conferences that I spoke at.
Well, I never got them after the session where they came up and asked stuff, but I definitely got some leads for when I was working at FXEM for part-time work at the bar. Because you'd start a conversation and they go, "Oh, listen, I need some help." And I go, "Yeah, 75 to 100 bucks an hour, no problem." And then you get the people that would say, "Well, I could hire someone from the Philippines or India for 10 bucks an hour," and I'm going like, "Yeah." And
then you can call me later. But then you say, "Oh, this is my other card. I do forensic SEO, and once you fuck yourself, come see me."
Yeah, that's double. So you can pay me now or pay me twice as much.
Twice as much later. That's right. My forensic prices are much higher because I know you're kind of bent over that barrel, and Google got a dick up your butt. Yeah. Oh yeah, forensic work's always double.
Now, do you guys have LinkedIn accounts? How many times a day or a week are you getting offers from people on LinkedIn to do SEO for you?
Well, I get them in emails. I get them everywhere, and I'm literally at the point now that if you're stupid enough to send a fucking email to somewhere called the SEO Dojo or Verve or whatever, I'm going to start taking some of these guys up on it and start publishing the email conversations and whatever reports they send me. I'm in the mood, I'm like, I was looking at, I didn't delete one this morning. I was like, I've had about enough of these for the last fucking 20 years, so I'm thinking I might take up one of these assholes and see if they even catch it. Do they just run it through some tool, or do they actually go to the site and realize that I do this for a living?
Well, it's like the people that would spam Matt Cutts for links because he had a website.
Yeah.
How stupid could you possibly be? Asking Matt Cutts if you'll put a link up to the
and
website.
Who is building these email lists?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very tempted right now to start actually answering some of these emails and asking, "Oh yeah, I'd be damn interested. Send me that free report, free content for my blog. Thank you, sir."
Yeah, we need to actually create a couple of standalone, really crappy websites, send some shitty links to it, and then hand that one off as the example for all of these people to run the SEO on and see what they come back with.
So just auto-gen everything, scrape everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Put the crap at it. Yeah.
Run it through an auto article bot.
I get stuff all the time too.
I know, dude. I'm just tempted one of these days to start, taking them up on the offer, then publishing the findings and having some fun,
The ones that kill me are the ones that want to build links for you, and it's a PR7 site.
Yeah, I know. You're still getting those. It's like, really? How old is that email form that you're sending out?
Like, I doubt very much they could get a link that would move the needle. But when you look at the site, It's PR7, but it's probably got less than 50 links to it.
Yeah, well, you know the old trick. You redirect your website to a site that used to have a high PR, and then you unconnect it, and it would hold the PR for, a week or two.
That website has actually been up since 2003.
No, but if you wanted to build a crappy, website and pass it off as having really good power, you could point the domain to like abc.com for a while, and the association with your domain gets their PR, and then you forward it to your old shitty content, and it used to hold that PR for a while. So you could sell the domain real fast if it's a PR7 or a 9 or a 10. Hey, come on. I know all the tricks.
Oh, that's like the people who, say, oh, I'm trying to build links. And I said, well, I can make this site here PR4 in less than 2 weeks. I just link to it from 3 other sites I own that are all high PR sites. People think you need 100 links to get that. No, you need 4 links from the right place will get that PR4.
Yeah, exactly, especially if it doesn't have any other outbound links from it.
Right.
The old 0.85 divided by the number of outbound links formula.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me just kill the live portion of this. Anybody still watching, there's a few of you. You want to join us back here, feel free to click the link in the event page. But yeah, this is like 2 hours of crap I got to edit now. So I'm just going to kill the live portion and we'll continue on with this. Anyone wants in links on the event page, come in and say hello.